let's see. I am going to introduce now Mr. Bill Lopes. I'll go back. Actually, this is a great opportunity to introduce Bill, because last summer at those hearings, when the government was putting forth these possibilities to get rid of the FTR, Mr. Lopes was there, and I didn't know who he was, but he was rather diligent in his speaking at the microphone to try to keep the FTR in place. And it was with that I developed a small relationship with Mr. Lopes, and I just think it's absolutely wonderful that he decided to get involved in this Charter Review Commission, since he had that early introduction last summer when the attempted change to the charter happened. So with that, I'd like to introduce Mr. Lopes, and I'd like to thank him again for running.
Wow, I'm pretty humbled to be here amongst all these very knowledgeable and experienced speakers. I'm a total greenhorn relative to Tiverton politics, so I will do my best to share with you some of the things that I feel are important and what drove me to join the effort to try and protect the FTR and also the casino revenues. So I promise you, since I know I'm the last speaker and I know I'm between you and the table over there, I will try to be as brief as I can. But I do want to just share a few things with you, a couple of highlights. First of all, my name is Bill Lopes. I have owned property in Tiverton since 1998. I was working at the time, and I was not able to live here on a full-time basis. However, in 2003, I did retire from a very fruitful 37-year career with General Electric Company. I was a technical executive at GE. And I had very extensive experience in managing programs, multi-million-dollar programs, and dealing with schedules and maintaining efficiency in those programs. My education is, I have a couple of master's degrees, one an MBA and the other a mechanical engineering, and I'm grateful that Jeff did not talk about my grades. I have had a very interesting career, and I believe many of the things that I learned in industry are applicable to helping to make a town government work better. So as I said, I am new to Tiverton politics. I really got interested in the work that was being done in the creation of the FTR. And as I mentioned, I moved here in around 2003, and that's right down here. And you know, I had this wild ride along with all of you, in which the taxes doubled over 10 years. And I heard about the FTR. I thought it was a very exciting and game-changing concept. And clearly, the results are shown that this has really made a big difference. And let's face it, it had to. We've got, rather than having a handful of elected officials and people with, invested interest in getting things done, instead, you've got 10 or 12,000 people who are taxpayers, who are really the people paying the bills, and they are going to vote for the best solution for our town. So it's just been a wonderful process, and I, like others, want to work very hard to continue that. And it has stabilized our taxes over the last several years. Now we see signs, however, that as we run up to the Charter Commission election, that there are people wanting to change the FDR. And people before me have elaborated on that. I won't bore you with those details. But I do think it's flawed thinking that, and would be a serious mistake for Tiverton's future, if we were to significantly alter the FTR. It, like any process and system, can be improved, but it is pretty darn good, and it has shown it is a very effective tool. When you look at what it has done, I think it provides the townspeople with a very bright future. If we continue to follow this trajectory, it will allow our seniors to basically, on a fixed income, to be able to stay in their homes, be in a more affordable condition. We also need to think, and someone mentioned grandchildren and children, we also need to think about the young. How are they going to stay in this community? A community that they grew up in, that they love, they want to stay here. How are we going to be able to do that unless we have manageable, affordable financial commitments for this town? The FTR is a democratic process. I know a lot of people talk about democracy and whatnot, but it is. All voters in this town have a say. They can control the way in which we spend our money. We're not counting on this small little group of people with these backroom deals trying to manage this. So when you look at it, when people talk about altering the FTR, think about the miserable record that they have, and then think about what FTR has delivered to all of us. Let's see, I've got a couple other points I'd like to make here. One is we've got a fork in the road, as we know. People talking about this new chapter in Tiverton's history with the advent of the upcoming Tiverton casino revenue. Now, this is no small deal. This is $4 million, folks. I mean, let's face it, $4 million. We've had, pitched battles fought in this town over a few $100,000. And here we are. We're going to have, on an annual basis, we're going to be getting $4 million. We need to manage that appropriately. We need to make sure it's being handled responsibly. And we want to do that in a way that's fair to everybody. And I know that some of our neighbors and friends have some different opinions of this, but fundamentally, when the casino gaming money comes in, look, we're going to have more than enough money to distribute for schools, for public safety, for debt relief, capital expenditures, and, thank God, tax relief. So we just need to have a process that will be fair to everybody. We don't want to maintain this constant battle going on forever within our town community. Let's try to use the FTR and the casino funds in a responsible and committed way that will allow all of our folks to share in the prosperity going forward. And let's make sure that our seniors, I know many of you are seniors here. I'm a senior, so I feel a part of you, but I can tell you this, that I do see many seniors in my neighborhood who are worried about their ability to stay in their home. They are seeing that even though we have plateaued, we've plateaued at a very high level. And we need tax relief to help bring us back to a point where people on a fixed income can afford to live in the homes that they love and they brought up their families in. It's really that simple. And we need to help the young folks, the two paycheck couples that are working their butts off and trying to be able to maintain a home in a very nice community like Tiverton. So we really want to give all of our kids a chance to enjoy the fruits of this wonderful community that we've all enjoyed. So let's give every Tiverton taxpayer the chance to not only enjoy the community, but have a say in how their money is spent. And let's protect the FTR. It is an invaluable tool, and we need to make sure that the casino revenue, once it starts flowing in, gets included into the FTR so you have a chance. Each and every one of you have a chance to say, yeah, I think maybe a new fire engine's a good idea. Let's do this, or let's buy whatever. So again, I just thank you for your welcoming this afternoon, hosting us, and thanks again for listening to us, and particularly me, who is trying to struggle with all of these great and knowledgeable folks around. Thank you.